Hey everyone, it's Daniel with Gaming While Bearded. Today we're going to take a look at another game that got started on Kickstarter and is now out to retail stores throughout the world. We're going to be looking at Noises at Night, a game designed by Floyd Liu and published by B&B Games. It's a social deduction game where you want to figure out who each character is and who's playing as who, but ultimately the person with the most victory points is going to win. So not just about figuring out who each person is, but also about accumulating the most points and having those at the end of the game. Let's get it to the table and see how it's going to play. Alright, so here we have the basic game of Noises at Night set up. What you're going to do is select 4 random locations and the bathroom, and you'll play with 5 locations throughout the game. So in this game we're going to be testing is going to be the attic, the kitchen, the living room, Leo's room, and then the bathroom on the right. You have the clue deck and then your event deck. Now, on each location, you're going to place 1 token for one of the characters. There are 8 characters that you could be throughout the game. This is kind of it's not really a hidden role game, but you keep your characters secret. You don't have any special abilities or anything like that, but you keep your identity hidden during the game. And what you'll do is that you just kind of randomly divide those tokens up amongst the rooms. So let's take a look at the characters that you can play during the game. First one is going to be Mom, Miss Lisa Larson, and you can see that she has a symbol here in the top left-hand corner. That's going to be the symbol that's going to score her points. All right, we have the sister, Luna Larson. She shares the same icon as the mom. You have the ghost, which is going to have this little skull symbol here in the top left corner. The boogeyman, that's going to share that same symbol. You have the rat that has the fish bones. The cat, Mr. Gluttons, he's going to have that fishbone symbol as well. And then you have Dad, Mr. Adam Larson, he's got a wrench symbol. And Grandpa, Mr. Edward Larson, is going to have that wrench symbol as well. So each character has their own symbol that will score them points. You'll see those symbols at the top of your clue cards, such as this one here. So you'll see the symbols here at the top. This card is going to score points based on the number of icons here at the top associated with each character. Now, during setup, the one thing that you have to remember is you cannot put the same characters in the same room if they share the same scoring symbol. So, like I said, you put everything out randomly. If you end up getting 2 of the same characters that share a symbol in the same room, just remix them up and go again. So, every player does get a reference card, this one right here, and that's going to show a better example of who's collecting each symbol that you can refer to throughout the game to help you deduce which character is where and who is playing them. The back of that reference card also has some turn-by-turn instructions, so it shows you how to set the game up, what you do during the clue phase, guessing phase, and how you score at the end of the game. Now, to start the game, every player is going to get one of those identity cards. They keep them face down in front of them, and then they're going to be dealt 4 of these clue cards that they'll keep in their hand. And at the end of each turn, you're going to draw back up to 4 cards. If for some reason you have more than 4 cards, you won't draw anything. So during your turn, you're going to play 2 cards to the table. You can put them in the same room, or you can put them in different rooms. You can play them face up, or you can play them face down. Once you play cards into the room, you'll activate your card's abilities, if there are any, first, and then you'll activate the ability of the room that you played the card into. So for example, if I have a 4-card hand here, okay, and let's just take a look. This is the hand that I just randomly dealt myself, and let's say that I'm playing as Grandpa. So Grandpa is going to have that wrench symbol here, and Grandpa is currently located in the living room. You can see his symbol there on that card. So the way that I'm going to score points as Grandpa is by having a lot of these wrench symbols face up on the board, and also by playing cards into the room that Grandpa's in. So I'll get 1 point for every face-up wrench symbol anywhere on the board at the end of the game, and then I'll also get 1 point for every card located in the living room at the end of the game as well. So I have to play 2 cards to start the game. So let's say I take these 2 cards. I'm going to take the old photographs, okay, which has a wrench symbol, and I'm going to take this banana peel that has a wrench symbol, and I'm going to play them both into the living room. Okay, now zooming in here, you can take a look at the rooms. The rooms themselves each have an ability, okay? So when you look at the living room here, it says that you can play a third card. Now there's an extra symbol here next to the living room title. That means that you have to play both of your cards that turn into that room in order to activate that ability. Okay, so just reading these from left to right, the attic lets you flip a card over in this room, so you can flip one that's face down, face up, or one that's face up, face down. The kitchen, you have to play both cards there. It allows you to look at an unused identity that was not selected during the game. The Leo's room here allows you to draw 3 clues, and you discard 2 of those, so a good way to kind of fill your hand, and you only have to put 1 card there to activate that. And then the bathroom gives you an immediate victory point. Notice there are no tokens in the bathroom. That's because everyone uses the bathroom at night, so no one's just going to be hanging out in there. So since I played 2 cards into the living room, the special ability says that I can play a third card. So what I might do is just take one of these other cards here that don't really give me any points, and I want to throw people kind of off the scent of who I am. So maybe I want to play this face up over here into the bathroom and go ahead and gain a victory point. And victory points are shown by these punchboard tokens. They come in 1s, 5s, and 10s. So I'll take that and put it in front of me, and now that'll count towards end of game scoring. So that's it for my turn. I played 3 cards. I'll draw 3 new ones and replenish my hand, and then we'll go on. Now, you'll notice that some of these cards don't have any icons at all. Some of them are actually special ability cards or action cards. So the locked door reads that you lock up a room. Players can no longer play or place any cards in this room until it's your turn again. So if there are a couple abilities that allow you to lock off places so other players can't play anything there. You have the flushing sound card. Play this in any room and move 1 clue in that room to the bathroom, so you can move cards from one place to the other. Now, let's say that my counterpart here is going to be playing their turn as well, and what they're going to do is that they're going to take 2 cards. They're going to place them, we'll say, face down. Okay, so they take 2 cards here, and they're going to put them face down right here. Now, what's the benefit of playing cards face down? Well, one, remember, you get a point for every card in the room that your character's in, whether it's face down or face up. But you do not score the icons on face down cards at the end of the game. So if you have cards that you want to get rid of that maybe will give other people points and you don't want to give them points, you can play them face down, maybe put them in the room that you're in, give yourself a point, and just kind of throw that card away. But remember, there are action cards and room abilities that allow you to flip cards up throughout the game, so they can change. And there's also abilities that'll move cards from room to room as well. So the biggest takeaway on scoring points: you score points based on the number of icons that match your character that are face up on the board, and the number of cards that are in the location that your character token is in. And that's how the game works. Very simple. Every turn, you're going to play 2 cards. You're going to draw back up to 4 cards. Then it's going to go around the room. After every player has taken that turn, you're then going to go into what they call the guessing phase. The guessing phase means that you're going to try to guess who each character is. Now, if you're not sure about this and you're just taking random guesses, it could cost you at the table. So if you're right when you guess somebody, you're going to get victory points for getting the guess correct. If you're wrong, then the person that you're guessing who fooled you is going to get those points instead. So how many points are they going to get? Well, that's based on the turn tracker here that you can see. They have a little timer here that's set up. It's just a card and then a punchboard token. And based on the number of players, you'll start at a different number of turns. So for a 2-player game, you'll set it to 7. So say if it is the first turn of the game and you're at 7 and you guess a character and you're right, you will get 7 victory points. If you're wrong, your opponent will get 7 victory points. So it's good to guess because you want those points, but it can also be costly if you're wrong. Now, at the end of the guessing phase, you're going to take the first player marker and you're going to pass it to the person on the left. They are going to start the next turn. You're then going to move your turn counter down. So it's at 7. We're just going to tilt that right down to 6. and you're going to start over again with the new first player playing 2 cards and going from there. The game's going to continue until you get down to 0. If somebody guesses who you are and you have to flip your identifying card face up, you're not out of the game. You're still playing because remember, the person with the most victory points wins. At that point, it's just a little more difficult to actually win the game because everyone knows who you are. All right, let's bring it back up for final thoughts and see what we think. So before we get into final thoughts, I know that a few of you are saying, hey, Daniel, you didn't talk very much about the event deck. And you're right, I didn't. These are cards that if you want to use, okay, if you're playing with people, once again, who are new to gaming, don't play that often, or you're playing with younger children, maybe just set these off to the side and leave them out for your first game. Introduce them later once people understand the mechanics. If you want to add them in for your first game, totally fine. They're going to add some complexity and some new rules or a new action every new turn. So in order to use these, for the first turn you won't use an event. You'll let everyone go through and play their cards. You'll let everyone go through and make a guess if they wish. You'll then dial back the turn marker. You'll pass the first player token to your left, and you'll draw an event card. Okay, so just a few examples like this one right here. Just once again the back art and then the front art here. Okay, this card says, full moon shining illuminates the house. No guessing penalty for this round. So that means that after everyone's had their turn, when they go in to guess to see who each player is, there's no victory point penalty if you get it wrong this turn. So a lot of guesses are going to happen that round. After that round's over and the first player token's passed again, you'll draw a new event card. So this one is Chilly Wind. Each player may discard up to 3 cards to draw the same amount of new cards. Okay, same thing, that one goes through, everyone plays 2 cards, everybody takes a round of guessing, you dial back the turn, you pass the first player token, and then you're going to draw, you got it, another event card. This one is Thunder and Lightning. Each player will flip over a face-down card from a room of their choice. So there are a lot of these. The deck is pretty large. You're not going to use each card in every game because it's a set number of turns, but they add in some interesting mechanics throughout the game, and it kind of changes it up. Doesn't make it as I guess, vanilla, really. It really changes it up. But if you're playing with new players, new gamers, younger children, leave these things out. They might add a little bit too much, especially when people are trying to get the concept of a deduction game. So moving on to final thoughts for Noises at Night. It's a good little game, plays in about 20 minutes. I like it, but I do feel as though it's a kind of a lost entry into an overcrowded market. There is a lot of social deduction games out there. There are a lot that I think that are actually better than this one. But it is a good game for what it is. I do like the fact that there's no player elimination in it. Once somebody guesses who you are, you just flip your card up, but then you keep playing as normal because you're playing for victory points, not to determine who each player is. But I just think that there's not a lot about it that stands out. The artwork is fine. The concept is kind of there. You're in a house. There are some creepy noises at night. You're trying to figure out who's making those noises, and people are set up in different rooms, and that's it, right? Like I said, it's a good game. It's okay. I think it's cheap enough that if you wanted to add it to your collection and you don't have a lot of other social deduction games, then this is a good one to go with. Being honest, if you want a personal recommendation of mine, I much prefer something like Bang the Dice game to something like Noises at Night. But it is something that's going to stay in my collection. Anything that I end up getting on Kickstarter is something that I have to feel like I'm going to like a lot and I really want to invest some money into. This one didn't cost a lot on Kickstarter to bring out, but it is something that I did invest in. So it's going to stay in my collection at least for now. So that is Noises at Night, once again published by B&B Games. Check it out if you'd like. If you have any questions, leave them for me in the comments below. If you like what you see so far, I'm still pretty new at this review thing, so click subscribe. There's going to be a lot more videos coming. Right now I'm just picking and choosing random games in my collection, bringing them to the table, trying to do a teach and play and a quick walkthrough. So leave me some feedback in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So thank you for watching. I'm Daniel with Gaming While Bearded, and we'll see you next time.